Hey everyone, this is David, and I wanted to. Some people were asking about the last project for the semester, which is the website. So if you go under your semester projects, and you'll see it's down here. This is just the basics here, when it's due, and so kind of read that over. There's some clicks to some different sites. Your web page minimum size 1024 by 768. You can make it bigger if you want, because what you're going to be doing is designing a website, but you're going to do it in a way in Photoshop that would make it into a responsive web design. So everything that you design on this website is going to be on its own layer. So you could send that asset like a button to the web programmers for them to use on the website. So what you're going to want to do is go into the website project. When you click on that, you're going to see that there's a template. And I want you guys to open this, so you just right click and do a save as. When you do it, it's going to unzip and you're going to see this little sources file. Okay? So just unzip it to your desktop, and if you double click it, you'll see that there's a bunch of PSD files. Okay? So if we click on this home page, what it's going to do is it's going to open a completely designed website using the 960 degree or 960 grid system. Okay, so if you look under your layers, I'm really making this super easy on you guys, so you can kind of start learning how to design a website and its assets in Photoshop, and then export them later to a website. So I'm going to pretty much hide or close up all of these folders, and you can see to create a website in Photoshop, you're going to have a lot of layers on this assignment, and you're going to have them organized and you're going to have them named. Okay, so what you can do is turn everything off just to kind of get an idea of where they start. And this is a bootstrap grid. Now, if anybody understands anything about web, there's a program called Bootstrap where you can design for responsive web design. So what you guys can do is you can just use this file to create your website if you want. You can create it from scratch and then drag this grid over, but you can show and hide it. And once I start turning on the layers, you can see how they used this grid system to design this website. The biggest thing you got to keep in mind is when designing a website and designing assets, you want things to have symmetry. You just don't want to throw up a picture and a bunch of text on there with random buttons. It doesn't look good, it's unorganized, and it doesn't look professional. So if we start going through this, you can see like these three, these would be links. They're all lined. They all take up exact amount of space between this grid. So you can see this one has 3, this one has 3. So it's designed well, it looks well, and everything's on the same page. They're using guides. You can drag guides over and use these. Please use guides. We want things to be aligned and clean and really nice looking. So I'll turn on layer 1 so you can see the white background. So okay, there's a contacts here. Okay, you see how this little image here matches up with this little image here. This is exactly centered. So just it makes sense when designing to use this grid system. So if you open up the contact, you'll see that everything is on its own individual layer. You have type on its own individual layer. You have those little phone on its own individual layer. Okay, you have this little icon on its own individual layer. So everything you design for this website has to be on its own layer. This Photoshop lets you export anything that's in layers to web assets. So keep that in mind when you're designing. So I'll turn everything back on again so you can kind of see how they did it. So do this a couple times just to kind of see what a nice responsive web design would look like in doing it with Photoshop. Use this as an example. What I don't like to see is someone using a huge picture as the background image, because what happens if you resize that, it's going to just look horrible. So design everything using, keeping in mind balance, alignment, where your viewer's going. They're going from here and they want to scroll down. Keep it really clean, nice, simple is good. So I'll turn off the grid system so you can kind of see that it really makes sense when designing. All right. So if you look at, group 3, so we'll get rid of this real quick, this little booking form, and you open it up, you see all these layers are just for this. So everything here is also on its own layer. And feel free to zoom in and really look on how they designed it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and come down to this form. These are shape boxes and text and little icons and everything like that. Now, if you were to give this to a programmer, they would actually this is what you would send to them as, this is what I want it to look like. They would actually all do this in code for you. There's code that they can do it in. But as a designer, you have to let them know what it should look like. I do that a lot on the side. I design assets for a friend of mine who has a company that does website design and hosting. So you see all these images that are exact same size. The text is lined up with this guide. We just don't want text kind of flying around. We don't want images different sizes. We really want symmetry when it comes to website design. So you download that, you open it up, use it as a guide. There's a lot of different ones. You guys only have to do like the home page, but once you do a home page, everything else just lines up and it's really easy to use for any of your other sites. So if you want to design the home page, that's fine. If you want to do extra, because remember, in the end, it's all about your portfolio. This is a great about page. All of these are done using just Photoshop shapes. Really get in the habit of using Photoshop. These fun shapes here, they're all vector. They can be resized. Don't always rely on photos for your design. You can see how the text, and you have these really cool numbers here. And then there's a theme that goes through this website. You have your social media icons, you have the phone number, you have the logo, Tour Taxi. So think about that when you're designing your website, and get in there and use these as templates. I have students in the past that just design from scratch. I'm like, why didn't you use the template? It's pretty much given to you. There it is. Use it. Play around. There's a lot of free social media icons out there. If you're going to use them, look for the stuff I look for is like on Google. And so if I come over here and launch Google, and I can come over in here, and what I do is I search for SVG graphics. So you could do, like, let's go web icons SVG. Okay, so if we go to images and we look at these, what we like is SVG stands for scalable vector graphics. Okay, so most of these are going to be vector graphics that you can open in Photoshop and scale. But there's tons of free resources out there. One of my favorite ones for web stuff is Smashing Magazine. So if you click on like Smashing Magazine and go ahead and open it up, do a search here, and here's some really cool little icon sets that are all free, and you can download them, use them. They're open source, so don't worry about it. If you're getting into web design, this is a great site to follow. So you can follow them on like Twitter, and they send out a bunch of cool stuff. They've got a bunch of cool Photoshop and Illustrator stuff. Just do like a quick search for it and it'll come up. Okay, so let's go back to the template. You'll see that there's a couple videos here. Go ahead and watch these videos. This video right here, this is an awesome one. I really like this guy. I like his videos. And this is a click. You click here. This is to his website. So if you like the video, go ahead and maybe follow him. He's really good to follow. And just go ahead and play. Watch the videos. Download the template. Start designing it now. You've got a couple weeks to do this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But I really want you guys to, this one I'm really looking for while I'm grading is the use of the grid system, the use of the shape tools in Photoshop. I'm gonna really look to see if you're using rulers. Does it have symmetry to it? Are you using colors that complement each other? Don't go overboard, and no gradients. I'm sorry, gradients have no business on the web ever, so don't use any gradients. I want to see that your forms are really nice and they're aligned. The first thing I'm going to do when I open up your documents is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to show guides. If I don't see any guides, that's a lot of points taken off, because you cannot design a website without using your guides. These are your friends. In every program you're going to do now to the end of time, if you're a graphic designer, you're going to be using your rulers and guides to align things. So good luck, design something cool, and I look forward to seeing you guys' websites.